Okay, just watched an interview with Mauricio Pochettino, El Cafelito, which is an extension or a segment they do on Chiringuito, in which the main host, Joseph Pedrerol, he is interviewing Mauricio Pochettino. And in this interview, which lasted 1 hour, 29 minutes, there was a minute 40 fragment in which he spoke about the U.S. men's national team. A minute and 40. Now, a lot of things that were very interesting in this interview from a world footballing perspective: Barcelona, Deportivo Español, La Liga, PSG, his time at Spurs, Lemons, etc., etc. 1 minute, 40 something seconds on the U.S. men's national team. And in that 1 minute, 40 seconds, Joseph, the host, asked him, what is expected of you in the United States as the World Cup approaches? Pochettino's response, very tongue-in-cheek, with a smile: I can't score the goals, nor can I defend them. In this case, Joseph, the interviewer, then says, will you have a strong team? Can you aim for something big? And he goes on to give a diplomatic answer. That's what we all want, right? And in the middle of that's where I want, it speaks about them being in a process. It's really about shifting the mentality. Soccer has to be understood as true football here. If the players in the U.S. keep seeing this as only entertainment, as a show to please the fans, then it will be very hard to compete and achieve something meaningful. But if we start competing with seriousness this sport demands, then yes, I believe we can perform well. Football isn't just about stepping onto the field and having fun. It's about living a certain way, preparing yourself so you can bring that onto the pitch. We're laying the foundations now, but the real question is whether we'll be ready in time. So he's saying there's not enough time. That's the challenge we face. Still, our goal is to help set the first stone so that in the future, this game will be understood differently here in America, in the U.S. Oh my goodness. I want to choose my words very wisely. But this screams of farsante, phony, snake oil salesman. And when I say this, it's because I live in a country, the United States, and I'm sure many of you do as well, and have played youth soccer here. And for the longest time, we had the sentiment of coaches, foreign coaches, any walk of life from anywhere, with an accent coming and trying to show you stupid Americans how to do things. But we're really just trying to take your money. We're really just trying to claim they were credible to take your dollars. And that's what they were trying to do. Mauricio Pochettino isn't a fool, but he's trying to pass the buck here. As they say in Spanish, abriendo el paraguas. He's putting up excuses like, hey, I don't score the goals and I can't defend them. And the real thing we're trying to do here is instill a culture, get them on the right path. They didn't give you $6 million a year so we could look back 20 years from now and say, oh, Mauricio Pochettino, he's the one who laid the foundation. No. It's for a World Cup, a tournament. They need you to get these pool of players ready for a home tournament, not to shape the next 60 years of American soccer, which he has no understanding of. If I were to ask Mauricio Pochettino about the history of U.S. soccer, he wouldn't know. If I were to ask him about the last 3 years of the U.S. men's national team, the finals, which they have won against Mexico and Canada, the Gold Cup that they won, the players that they discovered in that process or moved on from, he'd have no idea. He's smarter than that. And in this interview, I will prove that he's smarter than that. He plays into the crowd. When he is asked about Espanyol, because he spent time there as a player and coach, he takes shots at Barcelona. He uses nationalism, patriotism to take shots at Barcelona. Espanyol is a much more independent club, knowing very well that Catalonia wants to be independent from Spain. He takes shots at Barcelona using Espanyol. Espanyol is much more Catalan club. Why? Because Catalonia wants to be independent from Spain. Catalunya is a sense of pride in that area. So he's using things he knows will pander to the people. So he knows how to play the game. He could have very easily said, hey, we're working very hard. Hey, we've got a pool that we're trying to do something special with, like he did at the beginning when he said, we can strive to be a South Korea. We can strive to be a Morocco. We can strive to be a Turkey, one of these teams that makes deep runs. But now he's washing his hands. Now he's saying, not enough time. I can't score the goals, nor can I defend them. What we're trying to do here is change a culture. What we're trying to do here is set a foundation for the future so they can look back on. No, they hired you for this tournament. You're running out of time. This tournament right here is the first window of 4. This call-up, I should say, is the first window of 4. That means you got 2 games, September. And then you'll have 3 more windows, 6 more games. And you have no idea who your 11 is. Hell, you've got no idea who the 20 are. And you're sitting here talking about, well, maybe one day I can coach Real Madrid. U.S. fans deserve better. They really do. They really do. This is one of the craziest things I've heard a manager say. Passing the buck is what he's doing. He pandered to the Espanyol fans. He pandered to the Spanish fans. He's passing the buck with the U.S. men's national team fans. Not on me. If things don't go well, wasn't me.